Good morning, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be going over the gold for the day. Now just stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, so today we are going to be going over the gold for the day, and for obvious reasons, let's just open up our mailbox, which is a healthy 166,682 gold. Things of note that we actually sold was the mechanized chopper for 24,694 gold, along with a flying machine for 1,710 gold. The other things of note is the mechanized chopper, which was 24,694 gold as well once again, and we sold a load of different other bags such as silkweave satchels and imbued netherweave bags. By the way, the imbued netherweave bags are pretty good. Aside from that, we also sold some deep sea bags as well as another mechanized chopper for 24,694 gold, plus a vial of the sands for 47,485 gold. Other things of note is another mechanized chopper, once again, for 24,694 gold, plus an Archonai Defender for 4,179 gold, and also some Corium ore, 7 of those, for 1,928 gold, bringing our total up to 166,682 gold for the day. So let's pull in all of that gold right there. So overall, we've done quite a hefty amount of gold for today, and I'm quite happy with the amount that we've actually managed to pull in. So I'm quite happy that things that are going quite well right now, and that means we're going to have to do some restocking to go along with that. Aside from all of that, that means that we're going to have to resupply some mounts, and at the moment it tells me to actually resupply 2 vial of the sands plus 2 mechanized choppers. So if we just go back there to just double check that, we can actually just resupply those for 20,000 gold profit for the 2 vial of the sands crafted and 5,000. So if we remake these 4 mounts, we can actually make 25,000 gold just from selling those mounts once again. So for obvious reasons, that means that all we've got to do is now just resupply those different types of mounts. And the one that we're actually going to resupply today is we're actually going to resupply the vial of the sands, because I primarily haven't done that one for a while. So we're going to have to do that right there. So we'll just go to Zathrash and we'll open up our task list, and we can have a look at who do we need to go for to make stuff and what do we actually need to buy. And quite frankly, all we need to do is we need to first send over a nice chunk of gold to Zathrash before we forget, and we're just going to send over 60,000 because I can never remember how much gold it actually costs me in total for all that stuff, since the rep reduces the cost of all that stuff. So we'll send over 60,000 gold and just make sure that that sends right there. TSM is bugging out for some reason, which is kind of annoying, but it's not a problem overall. And then we can just do that and send 60,000 gold over to Zathrash. So that being the case, let's actually have a look at our resupplies, and what it's actually asking us to do is we're going to need to buy albino cavefish, Ajara's veil and all that stuff. We actually sold another mechanized chopper for 25,000 gold, just jumping on our auction house. That's another 5,000 gold profit on that, so quite happy with that overall, and that should come in 9 minutes to be more precise. But that will be added for tomorrow's video, obviously. So that being the case, doing really well on mount production at the moment. We're making like 5,000 gold profit, give or take, on mechanized choppers, and we're making roughly around about 10,000 gold profit on a vial of the sands whenever we sell one of those. So that's really helpful in the grand scheme of things, like for reduction costs, because this is something you can do really pretty much every single day, and it's basically doing like an hour's worth of farming for a 20,000 gold farm, but we're just making mounts instead that takes less time. That's why I like mount production, is because you can get those types of numbers of profit coming in, and then you can actually don't have to do that much farming overall. But obviously, if you do have time to do farming and do this, obviously you're going to make more gold in the long run. But this is just a nice way if you don't have a lot of time and you are someone who wants to just crack on and enjoy the leveling experience for next week, then this is probably a good way to go, is just do mount production, because people just buy mounts all the time and it's such a good way of making gold. So aside from all of that, what are we going to want to do now is we're going to want to go to our browse, and then we're going to want to scan all. I really don't care for the any little tidbits that aren't really low valued. Obviously some things are very low valued, like volatile water and all that stuff, and we're just going to buy that stuff out right there and just do it like that. So what we're actually recording today is we're going to actually do our Elixir Master, so we're not actually going to worry about Transmutation Master procs for today. It's mainly for Elixir Master, because I'd rather lose just a little bit of gold in order to just show you the Elixir Master part and then jump onto there. This says this is at an uptick for Whiptail, but I know for a fact that this is quite low for Whiptail, so I'm quite happy to pay that, even though it says 877%. It's actually really low for Whiptail, so just so you know, I'm not overly too fussed about all of that stuff right there. So what we're going to want to do is go to our mailbox, and we're going to want to gather all of that stuff in just to make sure we've got it all. And then once we've got that, we can go back into our TSM because we didn't do that. And then we're going to want to send that all over to Zathrash, and then he'll be able to buy out all of that stuff right there. And if we actually run inside quickly, we can actually log out a little bit faster than as we normally would. And then we can just do that. And then instant log out. And Zathrash is already in place to actually do his crafting for his Vial of the Sands. And then later on in the day, I will just do my Mechanized Chopper one, because obvious reasons it takes a while to do. And I find Vial of the Sands is the fastest one you can resupply, and it's one of the ones that produces the most amount of gold. So I can't really complain right there. So I'm quite happy with that overall. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to have a look at all of this. So 60,000 gold in our bags. We're actually at 61,000 in our bags. And we're going to want to open up the true gold. So we'll put them all over here because we'll be doing some optional crafts. And for Vial of the Sands, what you're going to want to do is, if you are doing the Deepstone oil, so if I opened up this, Deepstone oil, for instance, so Deepstone oil actually can proc multiple different deep stones when actually crafting this. So what you can do is you can press craft all, and you can see that you can actually make a lovely it's either 1 to 2 deepstone oils at a time, and primarily you get more than what you actually need, and then you can hold on to those deepstone oils for later on. So then for your next craft, you can use those additional procs to reduce the cost of your next Vial of the Sands you're going to be making for your restock. And that's why I like Elixir Master, to prove the point, because you only need 16 deepstone oils, but now we've got 27. So then when we make our next Vial of the Sands, we've got 3 deepstone oils to knock off a bit of the cost, so we can make more gold moving forward in the long run. And that's why I go for Elixir Master, because we are going to be wanting to craft a load of different types of elixirs. So we'll get the true golds over and done with. Usually you would want to do that on a Transmute Master for additional procs, but for simplicity's sake for today, just as a run through, you would want to do it on your Elixir Master, because that's the one that we're actually focusing on. If you do have 2 alchemists, however, it's not hard to get a hold of Elixir Master and Transmute Master. It's basically go to Stormwind, speak to the alchemy guy, get the quest for either or, so elixir or transmutation, and then you would either craft your true gold with the Transmute Master alchemist, and then with your Elixir Master you would craft your Flask of Winds and your Flask of Titanic Strength. So now we know, so if I actually move that down, with our Elixir Master, we only need to craft 16 of Flask of Winds and 16 of Flask of Titanic Strength. But for obvious reasons, we can actually close that down, and we're going to actually probably get some procs because we were an Elixir Master. So let's see how much extra we actually get from this. And what we actually will need to do is buy some crystal vials overall. So just to double check, we're going to need to buy out these first, and then we can actually do all that stuff. So what we need right now is 32 crystal vials. So we've bought those, we'll put those over there. Sands of Time, with our Aldermacord actual rep, we've actually reduced the price, and I'm at 2,550 gold for the Sands of Time. If you're a goblin, you really don't have to worry about getting rep. You get that automatically as a reduction in cost. So if you're a horde and you've got a goblin, you get a nice little discount when it comes towards buying these types of things. So the next thing of note is for Sands of Time. So Sands of Time, we're going to want to buy 16 of those. So we've got 16 of those, put those over there, and then we're going to want to buy 2 of those, which then we can put that there. And now let's just start our craft. So Flask of Winds to start off with, we're going to look for procs. We're obviously expecting 16, but if we get any procs, which we just did, we just got an additional 1, and then we can actually judge that by how many are we actually going to get extra, because every single one that procs, we're going to get addition. We can use that for the next batch of Vial of the Sands. So we were meant to actually craft 16, but we've got an additional 4, so that means that's 4 less than what we need when we make the next Vial of the Sands. So the next thing of note that we need to do is we need to actually, if we go back into this, we'll craft the last Flask of Titanic Strength, which is right there. We can see if we can get any additional ones to actually proc from that as well. So therefore, if we get any procs on this one, that's a little bit off of the next one. So we can actually save ourselves a little bit of crafting cost here and there just by being an Elixir Master. And obviously for the true goal, we can also be save a bit of gold with the Transmute Master as well. It's definitely well worth your time if you are doing things like the mount and all that stuff. So we've actually gained an additional 3 that we don't need, and then we can craft those Vial of the Sands. So we'll craft those now, 1 and 2, and basically what we're left with, so we've got our Vial of the Sands for the same cost as what it's actually said, but now because we're an Elixir Master and because of the Deepstone Oil proc, we've actually got an additional 11 Deepstone Oil, so that's enough to make 1 more and a bit of a Vial of the Sands. We've also got another Flask of Winds, so we've got 4 of those. That's saving a bit more gold on that because that requires 8 to craft another Vial of the Sands. So we're saving half of what we would usually spend on the next Vial of the Sands, plus another 3. So you can see how you can actually make a lot of savings by doing all of these mounts, just by using an Elixir Master, and also by also utilising Transmute Masters as well. So you can actually save yourself a lot of gold by using these procs that are already there for you in order to make more gold, because at the end of the day, if you're getting something for nothing that can craft something of higher value and you're saving a bit of cost, then you're definitely gonna make more gold in the long run if you're doing it on a daily restock for those Vial of the Sands. So over time, you're essentially getting like a free Vial of the Sands if you keep up with your production. Every now and then you would have made enough procs to actually get another Vial of the Sands for free, and then over time and over time and over time that just builds up as well. So not only are you getting the profit from making the Vial of Sands and selling it, but you're also getting your money back by getting those additional materials to actually reduce the cost of the next one, which would equal in over time a free Vial of the Sands. And that means that you can actually get more gold over time just by doing your mount production that way, by having 1 alchemist as a Transmute Master and 1 alchemist as an Elixir Master for those additional procs, which reduce the cost and give you more gold in the long run. Aside from that, that's basically what I want to actually talk about today. I generally do love this type of stuff, and just in general, it's one of the things that I just generally love doing is mount production. How do I reduce cost? How do I get the most bang for my buck? Even in my spreadsheet, I never actually account for the additional procs. I am considering actually adding that in, but I'd need to mass craft a load of things to find out a reliable proc rate for your Elixir Master, Transmute Master, and the Deepstone Oil one. So that is something I am looking into moving forward. Aside from all of that, guys, that is pretty much all I have to say for this video for today. Take it easy, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be tomorrow. If you want to support the channel and help make the channel even better, then why not check out the Patreon? Members get additional info, gold making resources, and Patreon specific content. The link is located in the description down below. Thank you and have an awesome day.